क्या आप IAS की तैयारी कर रहे हैं और कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स को 2.5 लाख तक की फीस नहीं पे करना चाहते? अगर हाँ तो 22,500 रुपए में घर बैठ के StudyIQ के पेनड्राइव कोर्स के साथ आप IAS की तैयारी कर सकते हैं। आज ही विजिट करें studyiq.com।
Hello friends and welcome to StudyIQ. In this lecture, we will analyze what are the major differences in the constitutions of India as well as in the Pakistan constitution. And why is this analysis important for us? We have seen the Pakistan has got a new Prime Minister Imran Khan, and under his leadership we are expecting a lot of transformation in the nation state of Pakistan, and therefore it would be good if we analyze the constitution of Pakistan and see how it is different from Indian constitution. So let us start. First of all, let us see the preamble of Indian constitution and the Pakistan constitution. When it comes to the preamble of Islamic Republic of Pakistan, the preamble begins with an invocation of Almighty Allah. So here we will see there is a reference to God in the preamble of the Pakistan constitution, and the preamble also mentions about the founder of Pakistan, Muhammad Ali Jinnah. So if we analyze the Islamic Republic of Pakistan's preamble, we will see there is a mention of both God and also the founder of the nation. Again, coming to other provisions of the preamble of Constitution of Pakistan, it promises adequate provision to safeguard the legitimate interest of minorities, backward and also depressed classes. So from this we understand that the preamble of Pakistan constitution is not very compact as that of Indian constitution. So the preamble of Indian constitution is very compact, but in case of Pakistan the preamble provides for safeguard of interest of minorities, backward and depressed classes. But in India these provisions are not mentioned in the preamble but in the original constitution. Thirdly, we will see that in the preamble of Pakistan there is a provision to protect independence of judiciary, and in Indian constitution independence of judiciary is not mentioned in the preamble but in the original constitution. Now if we come to the preamble of our constitution, that is Indian constitution, we will see there is no reference to God or to the father of the nation, because we are basically a secular country and the constitution of India does not favor any religion, and therefore in the constitution or in the preamble of the constitution we will see no reference to God or to the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, and also the preamble of Indian constitution is more compact as compared to the preamble of Pakistan constitution. Now coming to rights of citizens, the Pakistan's constitution recognizes the right to privacy, and in case of India, right to privacy was recently declared by the Supreme Court as a fundamental right. So in case of Pakistan it was already mentioned in their constitution, but in case of India this was declared as a fundamental right by the Supreme Court of India recently. Now coming to right to education, in India we have Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act of 2009, and this act guarantees education to children between the ages 6 to 14. And coming to Pakistan, the Pakistan constitution also recognizes the right to education, but the age is different. It is from 5 to 16. So the ages in the right to education is different. Now coming to the freedom, the Pakistan's constitution specifically mentions about the freedom of press, but in the Indian constitution we will not see a specific mention of freedom of press. The term press is not explicitly mentioned in Indian constitution, but in Pakistan this freedom of press is subject to the glory of Islam. That means it is based on some religion. And if we look at the blasphemy law in Pakistan, that is the law which takes action against the offense of speaking against the God or against some sacred things. So in case of Pakistan the law would be with regard to speaking or acting against their religion, that is Islam. So the blasphemy law is very rigid and regressive in Pakistan, and it carries mandatory death penalty. And also in Pakistan the freedom of religion is conditional, but in India it is unconditional. So when we say in Pakistan it is conditional, it means that it is available only to the citizens of Pakistan. Now coming to the judiciary in both the countries. First of all, the appointments in the judiciary. If we look at the Pakistan judiciary appointment, we will see that the government has no role in the appointment of the Chief Justice of the country. So, who appoints Chief Justice? The President appoints, and the government has no role in it. And whom will the President appoint as the Chief Justice? The senior most judge of the Supreme Court becomes the Chief Justice, and this is similar to that of India. In India also, the senior most judge of the Supreme Court is appointed as the Chief Justice. One notable thing is that in India, there was NJAC or National Judicial Appointments Commission, and this was struck down by the Supreme Court in 2015. But in Pakistan, they have their own committee or a commission which is responsible for the appointment of the judges. So, how is appointment of judges done in Pakistan? There is a commission, as we have said. So, this commission would contain 6 judges, 1 senior advocate and 2 government nominees. So, this commission will give its recommendations to the Parliamentary Committee in Pakistan. And this Parliamentary Committee contains 8 members. And this Parliamentary Committee will finalize the decision based on majority voting. And in case of appointment of the Chief Justice, the government has no role in Pakistan. Coming to misconduct, the Pakistan's constitution provides for Supreme Judicial Council to deal with judicial misconduct. So what is it? Supreme Judicial Council. And what is this council? This council consists of the Chief Justice, 2 senior most judges of the Supreme Court, and also 2 senior most judges of the High Courts. So this is the composition of the Supreme Judicial Council, and Supreme Judicial Council has to make a conclusion on any alleged misconduct on the judges. And based on the Judicial Council's report, the President will undertake impeachment of the judges. So, any misconduct in judiciary is handled by Supreme Judicial Council, and based on the recommendations, President takes the action. But what is the procedure in case of India? In India, we will see that the role of impeachment is for the Parliament, unlike in Pakistan. In Pakistan, it is done by President. In India, it is done by Parliament. And the grounds in India is more stringent. That is, it should be either proved misbehavior or incapacity. But in Pakistan, it is misconduct. So, the grounds are more stringent in India than in Pakistan. Now, coming to the elections and the government formation. First, let us see the provisions with regard to the Prime Minister. In Pakistan, the Prime Minister resigns ahead of the elections. And after the resignation of the Prime Minister, the leader of the opposition plus the Prime Minister, they together select a caretaker Prime Minister. So before the elections, the Prime Minister resigns and there will be a caretaker Prime Minister in case of Pakistan. And if the leader of opposition and the Prime Minister does not agree on a person to make the caretaker Prime Minister, what will happen? Each leader of opposition and the Prime Minister both can send 2 names to the Speaker. And the Speaker will refer these names to the Parliamentary Committee. And this Parliamentary Committee, which has equal representations from both the parties, will decide who has to be the caretaker Prime Minister. And after the elections, the Prime Minister as well as the provincial Chief Ministers, there are 4 provinces. So the provincial Chief Ministers and the Prime Minister shall be elected by the newly constituted House in Pakistan. And therefore, there is no provision for a confidence vote after the elections. But in case of India, the president or the governors of the particular states have a role in deciding the chief minister who can form the government if no party has clear majority. We have seen in the Karnataka recent elections that the governor decided the chief minister and he has to prove his majority on the floor of the house. So, there is a discretionary power for governor as well as the president in case of India, and in case of Pakistan there is no such discretionary powers for the governor as well as the president. Now coming to no confidence motion. The motion of no confidence can be moved by 20% of the members in Pakistan. And this will succeed. The motion will succeed if it is passed by a majority of those total membership of the house. So this has to be passed by majority of total membership. And in case of India, a motion of no confidence shall be passed by a simple majority of those present and voting. Now coming to the eligibility of the candidates who can contest in the elections. In case of Pakistan, we will see it is based on religious grounds. So the Muslim candidates in Pakistan's elections, they have to be of good character, wise, honest, etc. And one condition is that they must have adequate knowledge of Islam, and also this candidate should not have committed any major sin. But in case of India, we will see that the eligibility conditions and qualifications are of legal nature than of religious nature. So legal nature means that the candidate should not have committed an offense and should not be convicted. So conviction is a legal term, and we have already seen in a previous lecture that the conviction rates are very less and it has affected decriminalization of Indian politics. So the terms like conviction is used in eligibility criteria in Indian elections, but religious terms are used while deciding the eligibility in Pakistan elections. Now coming to the election commission. In India, how are the election commission members chosen? So in India, it is chosen by the government, and it will be mostly senior bureaucrats like the IAS officers. But in case of Pakistan, the selection process of the election commission is very complex. So what happens in Pakistan is the chief election commissioner should be a sitting or a retired judge of the Supreme Court or the High Court, or he or she should be qualified to be appointed as a Supreme Court judge. So it's a more complex procedure, and the Prime Minister of Pakistan, in consultation with the leader of opposition, forwards 3 names to a 12-member parliamentary committee. And the committee, we have already seen, the parliamentary committee has representations from both the government and the opposition, and it is equal representation. So the parliamentary committee will decide who has to become the chief election commissioner. And coming to the members of election commission, there are 4 members in the election commission in Pakistan. And who are these 4 members? Each member will be a judge from one of the 4 provincial high courts of Pakistan. We have seen there are 4 provinces, and from each provincial high courts, one judge will be representing the election commission in Pakistan. So in case of India, the government decides, but in Pakistan, it has to undergo a complex procedure. And also, the election commission of Pakistan has financial autonomy, and this financial autonomy is subject to the issues related to elections. But in India, we will not see such a financial autonomy to the election commission of India. Now coming to the reservations. In Pakistan, there are 342 seats in the National Assembly, and out of this 342 seats, 272 are filled by direct elections, and among the rest, 60 seats are reserved for women. 10 seats are reserved for religious minorities. So in total, it is 342 seats. 60 for women, 10 for religious minorities, 272 by direct elections. So altogether 342 seats. And coming to the 4 provincial assembly elections, each province have their own reservations for both women and minorities. And a very important and notable feature of Pakistan elections is that if less than 10% of women voters cast their vote in a particular constituency, the result will be nullified. So at least 10% of the women voters in the particular constituency has to cast the vote if the votes have to be counted. Otherwise, it is nullified. So these are some important differences in the Constitution of India as well as Pakistan. You can find the PDF of this lecture on my Facebook page. Thank you.
क्या आप IAS की तैयारी कर रहे हैं और कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स को 2.5 लाख तक की फीस नहीं पे करना चाहते? अगर हाँ, तो 22,500 रुपए में घर बैठ के StudyIQ के पेन ड्राइव कोर्स के साथ आप IAS की तैयारी कर सकते हैं। आज ही विजिट करें studyIQ.com।